All right, everybody, you have made it to the end of this unit, which is fantastic. Give yourself a pat on the back. We are doing J.6 Divide by decimal numbers today. So we have arrived. There's a cool couple of methods that you can use to solve these, and when we get into Khan Academy, you'll be able to see some of those in more detail, but I'll show you a few right now. So we're going to start out with 89 divided by 8/10. Okay, 0.8, 8/10. Notice how that's a fraction. So this can also easily be a division problem, but dividing with a fraction, right? 8/10. So you can think of it that way, and I highly recommend that you do think of it that way, so you don't just memorize one method. You want many different ways to solve these problems, any math. You want as many ways as you can to solve. Okay, so let's get into it. We're going to take 89 divided by 8/10. So we've got 89 here. 89 is our dividend. We'll put that in the garage. And then we have 8/10 as our divisor. Now, I'll show you the standard algorithm way to solve this, okay? The rule is that if you want to divide a decimal number like 8/10, you want to convert it to a whole number, okay? So you're going to actually take this decimal and you're going to move it over a tenth, okay? Or one place value to the right. But since you did it there, you're also going to adjust your dividend in the same way. So we're now going to move our decimal over to the right, okay, a tenth. And our decimal now is here, okay? And we're going to put a 0 in that negative space. So we've now just changed 8/10 into a new equation, which is really equivalent to 890 divided by 8. Okay, it means the same thing. 89 divided by 8/10 is the same as saying 890 divided by 8. We just shifted over a tenth. Okay? So now that you've done that, you can just use the standard algorithm to divide, and you want to go through this. Now, I will say that our decimal point is here at the moment. You want to be aware of that because you might need to carry past that decimal point. Let's find out. Okay, how many groups of 8 go into 8? 1. 1 times 8 is 8. Okay, we subtract, have 0, bring down the 9. 8 goes into 9 one time. Okay, 9 minus 8 is 1. Bring down the 0. Now we have 10. 8 into 10 also goes one time. Okay, and then 1 times 8 is 8. Now we have 2 left over. And now we're into the tenths place. So you want to go until there's 0 remaining left. So we still have a 2. So now we have to place a 0 in the tenths place. Bring that 0 down to create 20. 8 into 20 goes 2 times. 2 times 8, 16. Minus 16, we get 4. Now we need to put a 0 in the hundredths place. Bring that 0 down. Now we have 40. 8 into 40 is 5. So you see that we get 111.25. Now, let's look at this also as a fraction, okay? So let's just say this was 89 divided by 8/10, but we're writing it as a fraction. Do you remember the rule for dividing fractions? There's 3 words: keep, change, flip. right? Keep your dividend. Change your symbol. Flip the numbers in your fraction. Whoop, that flip goes there. Right? Okay, so we're going to do this. 89 times 10 over 8. What do you get? Well, 89 times 10 is 890 over 8, or 890 eighths, or 890 divided by 8. Notice, 890 divided by 8. See why it works? And now you could just divide this as an improper fraction and work it out that way. One trick is you can split 890 into two parts, 800 plus 90. And the reason I did it that way is because I know I can divide 808 easily. And now what you have are two fractions. You have 800 eighths plus 90 eighths. Okay, and then you can work that out. So 800 eighths equals 100. And 90 eighths, ooh, that's getting sloppy, sorry guys. 90 eighths is equal to, 8 goes into 90 11 times, that would be 88, and 2 eighths left over. So we want this 2 eighths to be a decimal somehow. Well, I know 2 eighths simplified would be 1/4, so that's equal to 11 and 1/4. And 1/4 as a decimal is 0.25. Okay, we know that. 1/4 equals 0.25. You could also use the standard algorithm to figure this one out. But we just know. Okay, 4 quarters into $1, so that would be 0.25. And so we've got 11.25 plus 100. So we have 100 plus 11.25 equals 111.25. Sorry, I can't hold on to my page and my phone. I apologize. 111.25. Gosh, I need to figure out a better system here. And there you have it, 111.25. So you see, it's super important to know how decimal numbers are also fractions, and you can also solve by dividing by a fraction instead of using the standard algorithm. Cool, huh? 111.25. Okay, let's do one more. So now we have 69.4 divided by 0.4, or 69 4/10 divided by 4/10. So 69 and 0.4, that's our dividend. Put that in the garage. I'm going to extend the garage out because I know that we're going to need it. And we're dividing that by 0.4, just 4/10. Okay, what's the rule? Mr. Voigt, you said that we can't, it doesn't help to divide by a decimal in the divisor. So what we need to do is we need to make that into a whole number. And the way we do that is to move the decimal over. Okay? You might need to move it over, if this was a double-digit number, you move it over twice. Okay? However, you need to move the decimal however many places, so the decimal is to the right of that number. Okay? In this case, it's once. And then you got to just do that same thing in your dividend. Okay? So we moved it over once, we moved it over once. So our new equation is actually 4 into 694. now. Okay, and our new decimal is here, to the right of the 4. Now you can divide this using the standard algorithm. Okay, 4 into 6 once gives us 4, subtract, you get 2, bring down the 9, get 29, 4 into 29, 6, 7, 7. Gives us 28. You get 1, bring down the 4, you get 14, 4 into 14, 3 times 4 is 12, subtract, we get 2, and now we're into the decimal numbers because we still need to keep going, right, until this is no remainders. So we don't have anything in the 10th place now. We're going to put a 0 there, and we're going to bring it down. Then we get 20. Oh, and this was nice. 4 into 20 is 5. And we're done. 5 times 4 is 20. Subtract 0. Okay, 173.5. Now, how could we have done this using fractions? Because this is really 69 and 4/10 divided by 4/10. Right? So what would you do? Well, what you'd want to do here, I think there's a couple of different methods. I would probably convert it back to an improper fraction and then multiply across. So that's the method I would prefer. There's other methods that you could think of, right? You can apply the 69 to the 4/10 and the 4/10 to the 4/10. That could work as well. So in order to convert this back, 10 times 69 would be 690, or 69 times 10 would be 690, plus 4 will be 694 tenths. Okay, so 694 tenths divided by 4 tenths. They both have the same denominator. That's interesting. You think that makes a difference? Well, we know that when we're dividing by a fraction, okay, we need to keep change flip. So we're going to keep this 694 tenths times 10 over 4. Okay, and so the 694 times 10, oh, I'm running out of space. So I'm seeing 690, so it'd be 6,940 over 40. Okay, well, we have this one place value here. We can cancel that out, the zeros. So now we really have 694 over 4. Or 694 divided by 4, which is what we ended up here, 694 divided by 4. Okay? You see? They both work together. Okay, 690, what do we say? 173.5. All right, let's do one more, because I don't want to spend too much time in the video. I want you guys to be able to get to the action. What do we have here? 94 and 9/10 divided by 2/10. All right. So we're going to put 94 and 9/10 in the garage. That's our divisor. And then we have 2/10 as, 94 and 9/10, that's our dividend. 2/10 is our divisor. So what do we need to do? Mr. Voigt, we need to make sure that our divisor is a whole number. So we're going to move the decimal over one place in this case to make our divisor a whole number. But since we moved that over one place value, we also need to do that in the dividend. So we now have a new number, which they're actually equivalent. It's just easier for us to do using the standard algorithm when we're working with a whole number in the divisor. Okay, that's why we do it. So now you could work it just like this, okay, from here. And if you want to work it like that, you can. We can say 2 into 9 goes 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 9 minus 8 is 1. Bring down the 4. We have 14. 2. How many groups of 2 go into 14? 7. 7 times 2 is 14. We have 0. Now we have the 9. We're going to bring down the 9. 4 groups of 2 go into 9. 4 times 2 is 8. Subtract. We get 1. And now we're into the decimal place here. Okay? So we're going to put a 0 in the tenths place. And we're going to bring that 0 down. And now we have 10. How many groups of 2 go into 10? 5. Subtract. And we're golden. 474.5. 474.5. Now, let's look at this for a second, because it is a little odd to think, how is 94.9 divided by 0.2 a larger number? 474. Right? But think of the rule, keep, change, flip, right? Oftentimes that symbol gets flipped to a multiplication problem. So that's one way to think about why the number gets bigger. And just as a general understanding, right? If you have a piece of paper, that would be 1, right? And you divided it by 3, you would split it into 3 parts. So now you have 3 pieces of paper. So the number actually gets bigger, not smaller. Okay? Just always think of paper getting divided. And then how many pieces do you have now? Okay? So this is like 94.9 pieces of paper. And you're dividing them all by 2/10. So now you have actually 474.5 pieces of paper that are the size of 2/10. That makes sense? Or 474.5, right, times 2/10 would give you 94 9/10. Okay. I don't know if I over-explained that. Maybe that was helpful. But you guys are doing great. Please email me if you have any questions. Adios. Oh, let's see if we're right here. Okay. Woo! Bye.